Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Grounding for the Holiday Season. I'm Andrea Rennie. Um, the holidays they're such a mixed bag. You grow up thinking that it's just the best time of the year and it's all fun. At least many of us do. And as an adult, there is a lot of, and there can be a lot of magic to the holiday season, but there's also just a ton of pressure and stress and just a lot of frenzy and also what I call unconscious energy, which is the energy of like unawareness. There's just so much unawareness to this time, and it can really creep into our space without us even realizing it and affect how we feel. This can be anything from, and of course we can be grounded and ungrounded at any time of the year, not just the holiday season, but since this is the holidays, we're bringing the focus to that. But that can show up as in a multitude of ways. Being ungrounded can feel like, for me, one of the ways that I really know that I'm ungrounded is this like feeling of like I have to go fast, fast, fast. And like I have so many things to do, but I'm just kind of jumping without purpose from one thing to the next. And I don't actually get anything done. So it's this sort of like spinning out, frenzied energy. I also know when I'm ungrounded. Being when you're ungrounded is when you might have accidents, you might bump your shin on something, you're dropping everything, you can't find your keys, when you get that fender bender in the crazy parking lot at the grocery store or the mall, all those things are signs of being ungrounded. And also too, in addition to all of sort of the frenzied holiday energy, or with being ungrounded, there can also this frenzied energy of the holidays can just really get in our space and make us feel like buzzy and really stressed and sometimes frustrated or irritated. And so what we're going to learn today, there's actually a bunch of ways to get grounded, and getting grounded, being grounded feels kind of like the opposite of everything I just described. It feels more calm, more centered, more focused, like you are the watcher and you are the driver instead of the sort of reacting to everything. And you can have just as many things to do when you're grounded as when you're ungrounded. But when you're grounded, it's like you're able to sort of, okay, like I've got this, and move through things as you need. And also just feel more centered as you go about what you need to do. And there are multiple ways too, and practices that can help us feel grounded. And I'm a big proponent of anything that truly helps our wellness and our state of being, mind, body, and spirit. And so, physical practices like yoga, I actually I feel much more centered and grounded after I do a yoga practice. And since I'm an energy reader, I actually can see my energy is more grounded after yoga. Spending time in nature, whether that is in the forest, in the mountains, at the ocean, is very grounding and soothing to our body, to our nervous system. Salt baths, Epsom salt baths, even like a delicious hearty meal, like a good hearty soup, or if you're a meat eater, like a nice healthy grass-fed steak, stuff like that can all be very grounding and nourishing to us. And it's really anything that helps us feel in a healthy way, feel stabilized. And the holiday times are also full of often a lot of sugar, late nights, more alcohol, and those are all things that can really kick our awareness out of our bodies and unground us as well. But what we're going to learn today is to ground our energy from an awareness perspective, and to ground the energy of our first chakra. And so our first chakra is it's the root chakra, or the sacral chakra. And you might know a lot about the chakras. You might not know anything about them. That's okay. And there is where a lot of people know about them from is from like a yogic perspective. And there are yoga practices specifically that can target and activate and align the different chakras. And there's definitely some grounding yoga poses. And like I said, that is a very grounding practice for me. We're going to learn to ground the energy of our first chakra from an intuitive awareness place. So that is from our awareness, or from our sixth chakra, which we can all access. And I'm going to teach us a really simple tool to do that. So that was a lot of information right there. So I'll just give you a moment to just take it all in. And if you're feeling at all activated, a little bit more anxious or stressed or buzzy or overwhelmed right now, that actually can be some of the energy that you are getting ready to release through your grounding. And so we will, as we start our meditation, we'll take a moment to really tune in and check in and see how we're doing. And then we'll do the same thing at the end. And it's all from this very neutral place of not judging, but just observing and being aware of. And so our first chakra is the survival chakra. And this has to do with a lot with things with our finances, the home space, our jobs, and really feeling safe. And so we're going to learn a simple but really powerful technique, which is actually, I teach the same thing to children too. So even children can do it, but a simple but very powerful technique. And for me, the simpler, the better, honestly. Things don't have to be complicated to be effective, to ground the energy of our first chakra. And like anything, it can take practice. And the more that you do it over time, it's kind of like going to the gym. The more that you go to the gym and you build up those muscles, the stronger and the more efficient that those muscles get. And so it's the same thing with meditating and some of these energy awareness techniques. But let's dive in and let's just really have some fun with it. There's no pressure. There's nowhere to go. There's no evaluation. This is just you coming to experiment and experience and play. So if you can be sitting in a chair or a sofa or sitting upright so that you have your feet on the floor. I'm a big fan of actually sitting on the floor, but for this type of meditation and this tool that I'm teaching, it's actually more helpful for our energy to be grounded if you're sitting with your feet flat on the floor, if your body allows for that. Of course, if your anatomy, your body doesn't allow you to sit like that, then sit how is comfortable. And then having the spine vertical and upright in a comfortable position. I actually have, it's kind of chilly, so I have like a nice cozy blanket on my lap and tucked under my feet, and it's nice and warm. And I have a nice warm cup of tea. So if you need to do anything, go get anything to get your body comfortable, or even stand up and stretch. It's so funny because I just recorded my Grounded Kids series, and I say all of these same things to the children, just in a slightly different way. But gosh, it's really not that different. And we all have that inner child within us anyways. And so I just love anything that makes the body feel more safe and comfortable is going to help you be more in it and more effective. So go do any of that. And when you're ready, just take a nice stretch with me. Yeah, and then just close those eyes. And this won't be a super long meditation. If you're not used to sitting and having some focused awareness with your eyes closed, or having a meditation practice, then that, even like a 10, 15-minute meditation might feel really long to you. So just do the best that you can do. And also notice, so yeah, I'll just say that. So just close your eyes. And just first start off with giving yourself some nice deep breaths. Just really let the air fill up that abdomen and maybe even audibly sigh out. And you're probably already starting to release some energy buildup. And energy is, there's emotions and there's energy that we pick up from the environment around us and the people around us. And, family, even if they're across the country and we're talking to them, those that can all kind of creep into our awareness. You don't have to think about or analyze any of that. Just notice as you start to slow down, and maybe this is your first time slowing down all day. And if so, congratulations. And if you've had a nice slow day or you sat for a few minutes, congratulations. You are exactly where you are and where you need to be. And just notice what is the state of your mind right now? Do you have a lot of thoughts racing? Are you going kind of into la la land? Is it quiet? Are you sleepy? Just bring some awareness to it. Just notice. And then just notice your body. Notice what your body is experiencing right now. Is it tired? Is it relaxed and feeling great? Is it holding tension or tension in any specific places? Tension is really resistance and a sign that there's some energy or emotions that we're resisting. And of course, this is non-judgmental. It's just observations. And just give yourself, just by acknowledging where you are in this moment, that is a gift and it's healing in and of itself. Yeah, and just take a few more nice deep breaths, and perhaps anywhere that feels particularly tense, maybe you're gripping with your hip flexors or holding tension in your traps and your neck. Just breathe some love and softness into those areas. Yeah. And then I want you to just feel the earth underneath your feet. You can even tap your feet on the ground a little bit. Feel the chair, sofa underneath your sit bones. As I tell kids, maybe feel and wiggle your butt a little bit. And then return to stillness. Yeah. And then bring your awareness up into the space behind your eyes in your forehead, like the center of your head. This is that sixth chakra area, but you don't even have to worry or wonder what that means. You can just allow yourself to just be there. That's like the seat of our awareness, where we can observe and be the watcher and the witnesser, which in and of itself puts us in a place of empowerment. Because it's all when we learn how to regulate, be aware of, and then have tools to regulate our state, not from a place of like trying to control and effort it, but just noticing and being able to shift it. That's really empowering. Yeah, so just allow yourself to just sort of sit in that space and just notice what it's like to be there. You're in your body. When we get really ungrounded or really busy, we can really be out of our bodies with our awareness. And just notice how this is to just sit. We'll get grounded in a minute, but we're arriving. We're really letting ourselves getting here. It can be uncomfortable sometimes to sit with quiet because all the things that we've been rushing around and have been sort of able to push out of our awareness because of our busyness, because of everything we're doing, because of our activity. When we sit and start to get quiet, it can all come to the forefront, and that can be uncomfortable. But usually we're okay being temporarily uncomfortable. And what we allow to come to the forefront, then we can shift, which we're going to do in just a moment. So now from that space, I want you to imagine, arm's length or a little bit more out in front of you. Like there's a really big movie screen, and maybe it's like the type, like if you're my age, when you were in elementary school, my age or older, and the teachers would pull down the screen to watch a movie on the projector at school. Maybe it's like a really big projector screen, or just a really big like TV screen, movie screen out in front of you. You can see it or just imagine it. There's no A pluses or no D minuses. It's just however. And you start to see on this screen a really big, sturdy tree trunk. Visualize a really big, sturdy tree trunk, like a redwood. That I just visited some redwoods and saw just some absolutely massive tree trunks. But it could be any tree, a maple tree, a pine tree. Or conversely, you could just imagine like a big tube, like a water slide almost, or anything else that has that sort of long cylindrical shape, a big fluffy animal tail. The kids usually like that one. And actually, the less serious you take this, the more humor and amusement you bring, the better and more effective it will be. So we'll stick with the tree trunk for my purposes, but go ahead and imagine whatever you want. So just see that tree trunk, imagine it, see it, sense it. If you can't see it, what would it look like if it was there? The space of seeing can get kind of clogged up and funky if we're not used to doing it. So that's okay, just imagine it. And then you're going to visualize or imagine that you take this tree trunk or whatever else you're using, and you bring it and connect it to your sit bones, to the base of your spine. It just hooks right up there. It makes a nice tight seal. And what it's really doing is it's connecting to your first chakra, to our survival chakra. And it's connecting your body. And it's natural to see it as this little skinny thing, but make it really nice and wide, as big as your hips, or even wider. And then let that tree trunk, that tube of energy, that water slide, watch it grow down and connect into the center of the planet, to the core of the earth. And there's no effort in this. It can just happen like in a snap. And your analytical mind might say that's not possible, that's so far away, but we're not operating from an analytical perspective here. We're operating from an intuitive perspective and an energetic perspective, and it is possible in an instant. So let that tree trunk, that tube of energy, it's your grounding cord. Connect from the base of your spine, as wide as your hips or even wider, and down into the center of the planet. Really root in. And then just sit with that and just breathe. your first chakra, your survival center, your body is connected to the center of the planet. Stabilizing you and grounding you from an energetic place. And sometimes it happens instantaneously and you feel the shift, and sometimes you need to sit for a few minutes. And just let everything slow down. And then the other thing the grounding cord has the ability to do effortlessly is that it acts as like a tube of energy that can release energy from our body and from our sphere, our energetic bubble, our aura that isn't ours or that doesn't feel good. And so the way we do this is it's already happening. And just with your intention, you just set it to release. I like the water slide analogy because it's like the water just kind of slides out. It's like the energy that doesn't feel good, that isn't yours, can just start to release. And then it just goes down to the center of the planet to be recycled and transmuted. It doesn't hurt anyone, doesn't hurt anything. It just gets transmuted. And so you might notice all different things as you're sitting and grounding and releasing. You might notice, you might see something draining out. You might see colors. You can see colors. Sometimes you can just see like globs or something dripping out, and that's energy. Sometimes you might notice it more as like a sensation or a mental experience. If you start to go in your mind to a conversation with someone, to that crazy trip to Target, to all those things you have to do, that actually is probably the energy that is releasing. Or if you start to drift off and go into la la land, that is also probably the energy that's coming out, unconscious energy, the energy of unawareness leaving your space. You don't have to know what it is to let it go. You can just have the intention and just sit to release anything that is not yours or that doesn't feel good. And when I say not yours, I mean, it could be all that energy from the grocery store. It could be your sister's energy from that conversation, or that busy energy from your child's school, from after school pickup, or, you know, that PTA meeting. Yeah. Just a few more breaths. And of course, you can always stay longer. And then when you're ready, I like to, after I've been grounding for a while, bend down and stretch, touch the floor, and just slowly open your eyes and stretch. They come back to the room. Oh. And really just tune in and just take a moment and just notice, how do you feel now? Physically, how does your body feel? Mentally, emotionally, just notice. And just notice how that was for you. And do you feel a shift? Was there a shift from when you sat down until now? And notice it without evaluating. It's just bringing the awareness to it, just noticing. No good, no bad, just what is. But that just observing of what is and of our states neutrally and non-judgmentally in and of itself helps us start to identify how we're feeling, what helps us feel better in a really healthy, nourishing way, and identify and connect that. And also with what we need. And so I hope you feel super grounded. This is a practice that I really make it a point to start every day with grounding my energy for a few minutes. I actually didn't, and then I do some other meditation and some other techniques and tools. But for me, the grounding is one of the most important pieces. And I noticed I actually didn't do it until almost 12 o'clock today for whatever reason, which is very uncharacteristic. Usually it's like before I get out of bed or shortly after I get out of bed, because I noticed for myself, I'm so much more clear and focused and purposeful with my day. If I don't ground, if I have a day where I don't ground, I feel like I'm kind of just like a leaf blowing in the wind. I have to do this, I have to do that. And I just feel kind of scattered. I also really like to ground before I go to bed and ground out any just energy that's kind of collected and accumulated during my day so that I can go to bed feeling a little bit more clean and clear like me and sleep better. And the other cool thing with the grounding too is once you ground, you don't have to sit there and focus and see with your eyes closed the grounding cord all day long for it to stay there. You ground and then you have to go bring your children to school. You have to go to work. You go to the grocery store, and that will stay with you. There can be times when, there can be an experience that can kind of kick us out of our grounding, or we notice we feel grounded for part of the day, and then we start feeling all like busy and buzzy and scattered. And maybe it's time to, if you can, take a moment or a few minutes to reground yourself. It's also something that, it's great to have to give it a good 10, 15, 20 minutes to really give your body and your energy time to sink in. But like, I'll ground in the morning, and then if I'm doing a bunch of things and then say I have to go to the grocery store, I might in my car before I get out just close my eyes, or even I do it so much I can do it with my eyes open. Just take a moment and just check in with it, maybe make a new one, or just focus on it so that I can really kind of refine that center. So I hope that you have had fun playing with this tool, that you tried out and really incorporate it into your life. And, the holidays, before you go to any of those, if you have holiday activities or really just going anywhere in the world, give yourself a grounding and just really notice, how does it help you? Does it support you? And if you don't do it, notice how that feels too. And if you have any questions around working with me, I work with people one-on-one in a mentorship. I also do one-on-one readings, and I have a children's program coming out, which actually teaches grounding and then 5 other intuitive awareness tools that really help with self-regulation in a child-friendly, playful way. So you can find me at growhappygrowhealthy.com or at Instagram at growhappygrowhealthy. I'm Andrea Rennie. I'm a trained intuitive energy reader. I'm also a trained wellness coach and was a elementary school teacher for a very long time. And so I kind of bring all of my background in all of these areas to really help people thrive and own their potential. My gift and my purpose is to help people step into the best versions of themselves and to do it with ease and creating ease and efficiency in your life. So have a great evening, day, afternoon. Bye.